Hello, and welcome back to Talking Freight, the weekly series by Cerasis, a transportation management solutions company. Each week, we're going to talk about a little nugget related to freight and transportation management. This helps shippers get easy, practical, and easy to apply tips that will make their life a little bit easier so they can become more efficient and lower costs around transportation. Now, in this week's episode, we're going to continue and end our little mini-series about freight claims. We're going to talk about the most frequently asked questions that we hear from our shipper customers when it comes to freight claims. So let's tackle the top four. The first question that we hear the most often is, what do I do when I receive damaged freight? That's if a truck brings you freight from a shipper and you as the consignee know that you have damaged freight. So the first thing you want to do is sign the proof of delivery as damaged. I cannot stress this enough. When you get damaged freight, sign the POD as damaged and be specific as possible. For example, if there's 5 damaged hoses or 2 damaged valves, etc., be specific. It will help in the freight claims process. Now, if you must, refuse the freight. You may refuse the freight if the carrier doesn't allow you to inspect the freight or they don't let you notate the proof of delivery. The second most frequently asked question that we receive is, does a carrier need to be notified? Well, if you've notated the proof of delivery, no more notification is needed. However, for shortages, you do want to call the carrier or get in contact with the carrier so they can put out an all points bulletin so they can maybe find that shorted freight or the lost freight. Now, if the proof of delivery is not notated, you want to make sure that you notify the carrier as soon as possible and legally within 15 days of the date of receiving the freight. The third most frequently asked question is, what should I do with the damaged freight? Well, this is very important as well. Do not throw away the freight. That includes the packaging. The reason you do not want to do that is you want to allow the carrier to come in and inspect it if possible and to salvage the freight if possible. Now you have a few options. You accept it and you want to, of course, sign that proof of delivery as short or damaged or lost. You can also refuse and ship back to the shipper. That's usually free or stray. Now the shipper will continue to hold on to that freight so that the freight claims process can carry through because the carrier will have to inspect it. And rarely, the carriers will dispose of the freight if they are given the okay to do so. Now, the fourth and last most frequently asked question that we get is, how do I get a replacement shipped out? Well, if it's damaged, you want to use the same carrier as the original shipment. Now you might say, hey, that's crazy. They just damaged my freight. Why would I want to use the same carrier? Well, if you don't, your freight replacement charges may not be paid by the carrier. And don't wait until the freight claim process is done. Carriers understand that it's time sensitive for you to get that freight back out or for you to get that new thing that you were expecting to receive. So go ahead and get that process started to reship it out or to receive it back in. And in fact, you can include those new freight charges with your overall freight claim. Now, if there is shortage or loss, you want to, like with the damages, use the same carrier, but you want to wait as long as possible. So those are our top 4 frequently asked questions that we hear at Cerasis around freight claims. We provide freight claim services on behalf of our shippers. It's a reality that shippers have to face in doing any kind of shipping. A lot of shippers don't have the expertise because they don't do it themselves often enough, so we do that on behalf of our shippers. If you'd like to find out more information about our freight claim services, please feel free to go to Cerasis.com and contact us for more information. Well, that's it for this episode of Talking Freight. Next week, we'll change our series to focus on less than truckload shipping, and we'll talk about a number of things that will help you manage LTL shipping that much more efficiently. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell if you'd like to be notified when you're subscribed of each new episode. Of course, if you check out the description below this video, you'll get a link to a blog that will give you a lot more details when it comes to our top frequently asked questions. Now, We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Talking Freight. Hope you have a good day and take care.